Since fall term, we've been working on testing the liquid rocket engine, the recovery system, and the electronic fuel delivery system. These projects are making a lot of headway. One area that we've been working on is the composite carbon fiber cryogenic tanks. Our current idea is actually to change that up. One of our members is looking into doing PTFE coatings, and we also recently found a resource for thin wall stainless steel welding. So we now have a couple options that we're trying to decide which one to work with there.
The propulsion team recently completed testing on our first version of our pintle injector. The spray angle from the injector and the mixing rates looked extremely good. Unfortunately, the flow rates were underperforming for what is needed for the engine requirements. After the initial testing of the pintle, we went back to the drawing board, redid all the calculations, and we also started running some computational fluid dynamics simulations for a new design. Our hope is that by the end of spring break, we'll have the next pintle manufactured and ready to be tested within the first couple weeks of spring term.
My team has currently been working on a scaled model version of our design to be launched this summer on our launch vehicle 3. Our design is essentially two systems, one to deploy the drogue parachute and one to deploy the main parachute. We are going to be testing the prototypes that we have been assembling. The main focus of these tests is going to be refining our motor selection and making sure that the operation is smooth.
So we've overall decided to go with a AN 37 degree flare fitting for most of our hardware. On the fuel side, we'll be using aluminum fittings with aluminum tubing, and on the oxygen side, we'll be using all stainless steel fittings for everything.
So the airframe team is working on a lot of exciting things, but the two technologies that are sort of closest to being tested are a couple of experimental layup techniques. So one is a brand new nose cone layup technique, and the other is a brand new fin can layup technique. Basically, if these two technologies work, they will drastically reduce the amount of work that is involved in producing an airframe, and we're very excited to see how these technologies might scale to Base 11 launch.
Currently, we are working on systems requirements document, putting all the systems and subsystems into perspective. We are also working on the Phase 1 preliminary design report, which will be submitted to Base 11, and we are also working on the general systems engineering documentation, which would provide us a sustainable engineering development environment within the systems engineering methodology. So all in all, working in systems engineering methodology will not only ensure the success of Base 11 challenge for PSAS, but it would also help team members to translate their experience here into widely accepted industry standards for their future career.
It's been really interesting integrating a systems engineering approach into the way that we've been doing our projects. And similarly for the concept of operations, that gives us a visual way to demonstrate the project as a whole, and I think that that will also be beneficial for our marketing concerns. I would say the big challenge that faces us right now is we're about to lose a bunch of seniors who are graduating, and they're working on these projects for their senior capstones. But we do have a plan. We'll be doing some targeted classroom visits, and we'll be doing that specifically for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, and business students.
So in regards to safety, what I'm hoping for is that we will have a safety officer on each one of these subsystems who has already been on the team. My hope with this is that they will be able to develop and review their own SOPs before reviewing or submitting them to myself and my technical risk safety officer. I am also working on getting L1 and L2 certifications for at least 4 or 5 people, hopefully each on a subsystem, so that they will be able to get RSO trained by OROC. Besides the fact that this is a Base 11 requirement, we feel like it is imperative that at least 5 to 8 people understand the risks and the steps in a launch so that we can be better prepared.